Hatchetman Road. Everybody has heard about this story here in Logan County for a long time. Now, I always assumed that it wasn't true, that it was just a myth, kind of like Crybaby Bridge, which we are actually not far from. It's just a few miles down the road. We are on Township Road 56, which is near Huntsville, Ohio, at the Herod Cemetery. But is there truth to the story about Hatchetman Road? In fact, there is. It's an unbelievably scary and sad story that's true, that we uncovered through diligent researching to find that this myth is in fact based in truth. It's about a guy named Andrew Hellman. He was born in Worms, Germany on June 24th, 1792, and he came to the United States in 1820. Several sources state that Hellman professed a strong dislike of women, which I think he will show that here with what he does in the future. He married, he married a girl named Mary Abel on December 13th, 1821. They had 3 children: Louisa, which this is her gravestone, Henry, and John. When their first child, Louisa, was born, Andrew considered it a misfortune. He became hostile and jealous. When Mary became pregnant with their second child, Henry, Andrew accused her of infidelity. Third child, John, was born in 1823, and Andrew stated that if she ever had another child, he would kill her. During this time, he would leave home for several months at a time when Andrew was home. Mary and the children would live in constant fear. In 1831, Andrew, Mary, and their children moved to Carroll County, Ohio. The family lived in Carroll County for 5 years until Andrew sold the farm in 1836 and moved up here to Logan County. In 39, he murdered his daughter Louisa, which again, here's her gravestone, and son John, which we believe this is John's here, by poisoning them. He also tried to poison his wife, Mary, but she noticed a white powder on top of her milk and realized that Andrew was trying to poison her. He later murdered his wife, Mary, violently with an axe. On September 26, Mary's brother George was unwell, and she gladly sent Henry to assist in his uncle's farm work. 2 days later, George's wife, Rachel, went to see her sister-in-law, and when she entered the door, she saw Andrew Hellman lying in bed in the front room, with his head, face, and clothing covered with blood. He told her that 2 nights earlier, 2 robbers had entered the house and beaten him unconscious with a club. When he came to, he was lying in the bed, suffering too much to move. Rachel asked how Mary was, and Andrew said he didn't know. He told her to look in the back room. There, she found Mary's mangled corpse lying in a pool of blood, with blood splattered all over the walls and ceiling. A coroner's jury was assembled in the house, and John Abel accused his brother-in-law of the murder. The jury, seeing Hellman lying on the bed, asked John what evidence he had. He said he had none, but suggested that a physician examine Hellman's wounds. The examination was made, and the result was not that of a scratch, cut, or bruise anywhere on his body. I may have said that, I murdered that a little bit. The evaluation showed he had no injuries. Mary's body, however, had 6 distinct cuts on the head. Her hands and arms were dreadfully bruised. 2 of her fingers were broken from warding off blows like this, and a large gash on her right thigh, which was inflicted by an axe. An attempt had been made to sever her head. 3 separate gashes passed nearly through her neck. Andrew had poured some of Mary's blood over his head to make his story more believable. This was evidence enough to charge Andrew Hellman with murder. As he awaited trial, Andrew was held in jail in Bellefontaine, Ohio. He was held there for 14 months, and during the cold weather, he was confined to his cell only at night. During the day, he was allowed to occupy the upper room. One evening in November of 1840, he was left upstairs longer than usual, and finding no fastenings on the door, he simply walked out. Though a reward of $300 was offered for Hellman's capture, All attempts to track him down in Ohio failed. Eventually, they learned that he fled to Baltimore, Maryland, and his killing spree didn't end. In April of 1843, in Reisterstown, Baltimore County, Maryland, Catherine Hinkle was searching for her 17-year-old sister, Matilda Hinkle Horn, wife of Adam Horn, aka Andrew Hellman. Catherine had not believed the story Horn had told her that Matilda had left the house late one night 2 weeks earlier, wearing just her nightdress. A search party looked for her, but there was no sign of her. In a ditch a quarter-mile from the house, Horn's house, found in a coffee sack under 2 feet of ground, inside this trunk was the body of the young woman. Assuming it was the body of her sister, Catherine and the party went back to search around the house. Inside a building attached to the house, they found another coffee bag. This one contained the arms and legs that had been severed from the trunk of the body. Though the head was not found, Catherine was able to identify her sister's foot. They notified the police, who went to arrest Adam Horn for the murder of his wife, but Horn was nowhere to be found. Horn was arrested in Philadelphia and extradited back to Maryland. Sheriff Slicer of Logan County arrived in Baltimore soon after to get a look at the prisoner. Sheriff Slicer was carrying an official order from the governor of Ohio to the governor of Maryland, requesting the delivery of the prisoner to Ohio to stand trial for the murder of his wife. Governor Thomas of Maryland denied the request, saying that he must first stand trial in Maryland. If he escaped conviction, Maryland would then hand him over to Ohio. Ohio never got the opportunity to try Hellman. In November of 1843, he was found guilty of first-degree murder of Matilda Horn. In the following January, his hanging in the yard of the Baltimore jail was witnessed by an estimated 10,000 people. According to the legend, after Hellman's execution in 1844, his body was returned to Logan County and buried in Harrod Cemetery. His ghost is said to haunt the cemetery and a nearby road, Township Road 56, appearing with a hatchet in his hand. The legend of the Hatchetman has become popular local ghost story. It's become a very popular story, particularly associated with the cemetery where he is allegedly buried. Other versions of the legend claim that his ghost haunts the cemetery, avenging those who trespass at night. Some report sightings of a spirit lurking around the tombstones and walking along the road, sometimes terrorizing drivers, especially women, when their cars break down. And here we are at the gravestone that on many Reddit threads, they claim this is the gravestone of Andrew Hellman, also known as Adam when he went to Baltimore. And we're here to tell you that's not true. This is the gravestone of Henry Hellman. Let's get a double H here, and the name is on the front. This was the son that wasn't home the night of the murders. So far, we've walked the entire graveyard, and we haven't found any sign of Andrew. So I can't say right now if he's even here. But if you have been out here before and you believe this was Andrew's gravestone, it is not. Again, it's an innocent victim of the whole situation, the only surviving member of that family. So that if anyone here on this graveyard deserves respect and honor, it's the victims and the son who survived. Henry Hellman, this was the son that we discussed earlier, who many people over the years has mistakenly assumed this is the grave of his father, the murderer, Andrew Hellman. Henry lived to be 77 years old. 70 years old? 70 years old. He lived a full life, and obviously was just as much of a victim of what happened in 1839 as his siblings and mom. So, Henry, we want to offer you the respect you're owed. And for any people who's ever been out here before accusing this area, accusing you of doing those horrible things, I would like to say we're sorry that you had to go through that. And if there's anything you would like to say, we have equipment that can hear you. I know this may be kind of hard to understand, but if you talk to us, we'll be able to hear you later. So the first question I have for you is, what was it like living through that tragedy of your siblings and mom getting murdered by your father? What was that experience like for you? You were at your uncle's house the night of the murders. Did you hold any feelings of guilt that you weren't there the night that this happened? Now, earlier, our team member Erica was taking some pictures back here. We got a really weird picture right here at the front, facing you, the front left corner of your headstone here. It was a really weird anomaly that she picked up. Was that you in the picture? If you could say something to your siblings and your mother, what would you like to say to them? And if you could say something to your dad, the man who put you through unbelievable pain and suffering, what would you say to him? And we know that the rumor is your dad was buried here. Do you know if he is, in fact, buried somewhere on this property? All right, here we are. We're going to do a little EVP session right now. We are at the gravestone of John and Louisa, which, as we said earlier, these two were murdered by their father, Andrew Hellman. So we have some, just so everyone knows what you're looking at, we get a few flashlights set up. Sometimes they do go off and on. We got some EMF detectors, and we got the REM pod. And we got a little microphone up there to do a little voice recording session. So, Louisa or John, if you are here, we would love it if you would stop by and say hi. We come here out of respect, and we're sorry for what happened to both of you and your mother. We can't imagine what that was like. Someone like your father, who you're supposed to trust and love, who's supposed to be your protector, would do something so horrendous. Is just shocking. And from the depths of our soul, we're sorry what you guys had to experience. So Louise and John, if you're with us, there's a little rock formation to the right of John's headstone here. Some claims online think this might possibly be Mary, your mother's gravestone. If that is true, could you let us know so we can maybe properly mark it in the future? know if your dad is buried here. What was your favorite memory of your mom? Everything we've read seems like she was a really sweet lady. What's something that you really loved about your mother? If you could say something to your dad, what would you say?